Good morning, meteorologist Bob Acanfrio with today's tropical update for Tuesday, August 9th, 2011. Well, after our fun with Emily last week, kind of gave us something to track. Emily was a very interesting storm, if anybody was tracking her. In the end, she didn't really cause any trouble for anybody, which was good news so far. Today we really are showing a pretty quiet tropics. We're just watching a couple areas, nothing of major concern at all, just some of those little areas that you just want to keep one eye on just in case they do develop. We do have the remnants of Emily here, actually probably looks like our best feature on the map right now. Emily's going to move off to the east. And then should be going out to sea, although I'll show you another possibility with Emily here in a moment. We're watching this tropical wave approaching the islands. This actually had a little area of low pressure with it the last few days. And again, nothing really developing with this system right now, but this will be one to watch once it gets into the Central and Western Caribbean. You never know. These guys could sneak up and develop once they move farther west. So we'll just keep one eye on that one just to see what happens. Let's pull this out a little further. You can see a little trough here starting to establish along the east coast. Florida is going to be pretty wet again today as we have this west to southwest flow right across the peninsula. Perfect setup for a lot of rain across Florida. And we see more energy starting to move farther south. So it's going to be a few days of some wet weather here across the southeast. And hey, we still need it, so we won't complain. Fortunately, Texas is still bone dry and hot. Looking at the bigger picture, this is courtesy of WSI. Here's Emily. Now, it'll be interesting with Emily. Does she move east and get out to sea, or does she come back and sometimes you'll see these systems move around the ridge and then start heading back this way. But we'll watch her with a little interest. It's just interesting to see where these storms actually move in the end. Here's our weak tropical wave moving towards the islands. And then we have this system here. This was designated Invest 92L a few days ago. One of our first kind of Cape Verde type waves we were really watching here. And I'll show you in a moment. It's embedded in a lot of dry air and dust in here. Had a pretty decent circulation center with it, with a possible area of low pressure here. So this will be one we'll be watching here as it moves westward for the next week. To see if it wants to develop down the road. Again, just one to watch and see. And if we look at the water vapor loop, you can see all this dry air here across the Atlantic and right in this main development region here. And this is really thwarting any kind of development in this area. And it's going to probably hang around for the rest of this week. So really going to be hard for things to develop in this type of environment. Again, they'll have to move farther west to really get in this better environment westward here. The Saharan air layer, you can see here it is, all that dust right in here. And this is where that Invest is, or was. I'm not sure they're going to bring it back or not, but this was that area we were following here. Another decent wave moving off the coast. Again, we'll be watching. And, you know, the Cape Verde season, we're not there yet. We really start paying more attention towards the end of August. But this is kind of like the preview. We watch these waves keep coming off, and eventually one's going to take, and then we're going to kick off the season. But right now, it's just time to just kind of watch and wait and see. All right, models, just seeing what's going on. This is the GFS, and you can see this is for 7. We're going to go out 7 days, and you can see here's that system out in the out in the eastern Atlantic, and it's been on and off with development. Today, it's kind of trying to develop this system and then push it off to the west-northwest. Another thing we'll be watching for this weekend and into early next week is going to be this trough here. This frontal system that's going to come down, kind of lay itself down over Florida here and across the southeast. And you never know, we could get some kind of spin up here off the coast of Florida, off the southeast coast. You know how that goes this time of year as well when we get these fronts to kind of come down here and wash out. So this will be another area to watch. You know, we don't really see. A lot of times with these kind of setups, you really don't see a lot of models showing any kind of development. So just something to watch for off the southeast coast this weekend. And again, we'll be watching to see if this wave does eventually want to develop. Again, it's in a really bad spot for the next week as it moves across the central Atlantic. But again, maybe as it moves farther west, it picks up some steam and maybe tries to develop. we're going to be watching, which I'll show you in a minute here, kind of a pattern shift starting to happen now, where we're getting really an establishing in the East Coast trough here. So that's going to be interesting, and I'll show you some implications here for the rest of the hurricane season to see if this is going to be the pattern that we're going to be in now for the rest of the moving into September. Rest of the models, Euro model, not really showing much development at all for the next 7 to 10 days. Same with the UK Met model, you know, starts to try to spin the system up in the Eastern Atlantic, and it really kind of just dissipates it pretty quickly. And then this is going for the next 7 to 10 days, comparing the Euro with the GFS. And you could see this East Coast trough starting to establish itself here. The implications really are, you're almost going to see two different tracks now. I mean, if this pattern continues into September, it's going to be the tale of two tracks with systems coming from the Eastern Atlantic. You're going to get the systems that hook off to the northeast, I mean to the north and northeast, like we saw a lot last season, affecting Bermuda, scaring us along the East Coast. And then you'll see those other storms that every now and then will slip under this trough and move farther west and possibly get more towards the Gulf. So it's probably going to be a tale of two tracks here for the rest of the season, and it'll be interesting to see. You know, it's so hard to say. Everybody wants to know, when are they going to come? Where's it going to go? This is what's starting to establish now with the pattern. So just be aware. You know, like I said, it's probably going to be a tale of two storm tracks here. For those of you wondering if the heat wave's going away, well, yes, it is. It's really going to start being suppressed farther to the south. It really looks like, for those of you that have suffered over the plain states, Midwest, even the Northeast, your hot summer could be about over. For those of us along the south, and unfortunately for Texas, your hot summer's not over. But you can see these are anomalies here, and this is looking at the next 8 days according to the GFS, and you can see below average temperatures here across much of the plains and the Midwest, even some portions of the Northeast. So very good news that cooler air is coming for you guys. And then again, across the deep south, really not much. Summer goes on here. We would love to see summer end in August, but it just never does. But anyway, this is just showing you that this trough is going to be establishing itself across the eastern United States. Another factor to look at is the MJO. You've seen over the last week or two, you know, with Emily, when we don't have we could get storms to develop when we're in a downward trend of the MJO, but you could see a lot of drier airs around, a lot of downward motion. They're not as robust. The MJO hasn't been around. Well, it's coming back. Don't worry. And if you look at this is the ensemble models for the GFS for the next about 10 to 14 days. You can see it's going to start coming back to our area of the world here. Octant 1 here, 8 here, and it's going to come back. So again, this is that lull. No MJO, drier air, dust, that kind of stuff. But it's coming back towards the middle to the end of August, just when we're probably going to see things start really heating up. So just be aware of that as well. And also, and you can see this is the empirical wave propagation. This is just showing you the next 40 days, and this is green right in here. You can see it, MJO coming back. And it's going to be back into our area towards the end of August, maybe beginning of September. And we could really start seeing the tropics really heat up. So this is the time. It's lull time now, quiet time. If you're living along any of the coastal areas of the United States, just have yourself prepared for the season. Season really doesn't kick off till the end of August. Everybody's like, oh, it's slow now, nothing's going to happen, this is the end of the season. No. It's kind of like the preseason, and the real season's going to start happening here by the end of the month, beginning of September. And all the signs point to a very active time. So be aware of all those good things. Nice quiet week. Again, we'll be watching those few areas I pointed out to you. Nothing really pressing at the moment. And you know, just have a great day. Have a good rest of your week. I may pop another update here throughout the week, here and there, depending on if things start happening at all. Have a great day. Again, you can follow me on Facebook at Robert, ACAN, FRIO. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.